All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's December's Magnetic Marketing last CEO days of the year. I want to encourage you to think today about kind of wrapping up this year as like a bigger reflection, but also more importantly, to think about what's working and what's not in your business as we look into what we can think about projecting onto our 2025 plan, specifically with marketing. Magnetic marketing is truly honing in everything that's you, everything that you stand for. It's not about I mean it's a little bit about what you do, but when people want to buy and kind of decipher you from the competition, there is a lot of things that matter, like you as a person and you as your passion and you as the mission that you hold. And I want to workshop that a little bit when we get into the workshop piece to celebrate you and to celebrate all the unique elements of you that you are, and why that is just going to be a lot more fun and magnetic when it comes to your marketing plan for next year. So as we go ahead and get started, go ahead and open your workbook. We are on the last workshop of 2024. I already know a few of you have already got your hands on the 2025 workbook. It is even bigger and badder and better than before. There is so much extra stuff packed in here, and you all are going to be really, really excited to join us for our first event coming up in January. And a little update too is that we have 2 sessions that you can choose from. So I am literally going to be CEO dazing, right? 2 times a month now. So then people can get a little bit more, they can get in here for those who work in a different industry that they can't come here like I'm giving you like only 2 hours to figure out your schedule, but now you have a little bit more flexibility where you can choose what time of that day you can come. So anyways, magnetic marketing is today's topic. If anyone has any questions, please put them in the chat. The chat is a place for you to do 3 things. Number 1 is to introduce yourself and your business. Put your contact information if you're using this to network. Oh, wait till Sarah gets in here. So please put your contact information, maybe introduce yourself. If you want to throw that in there, this is a great place to network. Number 2 is going to be any questions or comments or just feedback that you have for anyone who is being kind enough to volunteer to speak or give feedback or give any suggestions to the topics. And then number 3 is also just to celebrate why you're here, celebrate each other, and just celebrate the fact that we are working on our businesses, because we all want to feel like this is a cozy and warm space. So let's go ahead and open up to page 1 of your workbook. If for those members, if you are following along without a workbook, you can definitely still participate. I want you to write down on a piece of paper. Hopefully you have a big notebook with you, but on the left side, you're going to put your intention for today. And then the question and prompt for our warm up is, what makes you magnetic? Okay. And then once you're done with that, go ahead and get started on your brain dumps. Your brain dump is the time to make a list. Everything on the left side is personal. Everything on the right side is business. So do we have any questions for today? I know that was a lot thrown at you all at once. So we're starting with your intention. What is your intention for the next 2 hours? And then what makes you magnetic? When you're done with that, we're going to go ahead and kick off our brain dump, everyone. Any questions? Welcome, welcome. All right. And for those new today, our schedule is we do our brain dump for about 10 minutes. Then we go into our reflection from the last 30 days. After that, we have our 20-minute themed workshop, which is all about magnetic marketing. Then we have a work sprint to get the things done that you come up with, so you can actually get your systems created. You can start working on your marketing plan. And then the last part of our meeting is just a 20-minute wrap up where we create our plan for the next 30 days and we end the call. And so we want you to be here fully committed, fully on camera, fully participating for the whole time, so we can help you the most. All right, if anyone has anything that makes them magnetic you want to share in the chat. I know my passion, what makes me magnetic is I'm just a cheerleader. I love coaching and motivating and holding others accountable. I know that to be true after the work I've done and the other things that I've tried to do as an entrepreneur for the past 12 years. Some things don't work for me and some things do. And so I'm really happy that I've found what makes me magnetic, and I can't wait to pour that into my plan. If you're not on your brain dump yet and you figured out what makes you magnetic, I want to hear that in the chat. Thanks for sharing your contact there, Danielle, too. That's awesome. Great. Welcome, Sonia. We are started on our brain dump list here. There's just on a sheet of paper when you're following along. On the left side is your personal, and the right side is your business. Anything and everything that comes to mind, we're clearing the space, and we are doing our brain dump to make our minds nice and fresh as we go into this workshop. So it's more of just like a journaling, dump it all on your page kind of exercise here. So welcome. We're so glad you're here. And some of these brain dump items could be housekeeping, like literally 2025 is a couple weeks away. So if there's financial things you need to take care of, you need to do some tax work, you need to, change out the year in your contract or your website and make sure that we're literally moving into a new year. Those are things that I want you to consider writing down that you don't have to take care of them at this instant, but just write them down so then you have them somewhere that you're like, oh yeah, I know I need to address that before the end of the year. If you are a QuickBooks user, it's a good time to just pop in there and look at your reports and look at what you did last year and what you did this year. That's always my favorite thing is being like, okay, how many hours did I work? And did I make myself a pay increase? Did I not? Right? Like those are fun things to give you some just extra knowledge and data points for your business column of your brain dump. Hey, Dr. Lakita, so good to see you. I love that color on you. So beautiful. We're working on our brain dump, my dear. We're doing business and personal side. And if you want to, at any point in time in the chat, we're doing our introduction, um, and any questions and, any celebrations you have. So those are just the little things that we're working on. We have about 5 more minutes on our brain dump fronts, okay? If you're halfway done, keep writing. We have holiday stuff coming up. Did you forget to gift somebody something? Are you looking to schedule some more time, me time, personal time? Like what self-care things do you guys have going on to celebrate the end of the year? Who's having an end of the year business party, even just with yourself? Like, you can pour your own cocktails and be like, you know what? I'm a badass and I'm a business owner and I am celebrating me, right? So, yeah, if you don't have that little like holiday party for yourself in your calendar yet, I don't care what it looks like, put that in there. And that can be on a personal time too, just because like you made it another year as a business owner. I love it. Yeah, I'll send that to you, my dear. Okay, let me know if it got to you. Beautiful introduction, Sarah. I love that. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, your feedback is love it. Love it. Non-judgmental feedback. Totally true. All right. Another thing that I want you to think of in your brain dump, because if you don't have anything else to write, um, yesterday in my networking event, we talked about like what wisdom did we learn from the year. We can do this in a reflection too, but there's anything that you want to look at, like how can I look at my stats or my data? Like, have you checked your website? Have you checked your junk email in a while? Like anything that may have slipped through the cracks to teach you lessons about your systems, your habits, your behaviors in your business. You don't have to put what those are, but maybe in your brain dump, you could say, ooh, I haven't checked my spam folder or my email automations that were going out, my welcome email. I haven't even touched that in a while, or my social media links, they're all going to the wrong places. Just put that in there as something just to give yourself a little reminder to go fix or check out or just fine tune if you need to do that before going into the new year. So I know that those things are always a good like reminder or just something to do before we pass go on another year is like put yourself in your client's shoes or a customer shoes or a prospect shoes. What are they experiencing on all of your touch points, right? Either in person or virtual or your just your web touch points. What are they seeing what they need to see or and are you directing them along the way of the path that you really need to take them? Okay, you requested access. Sorry about that. Oh, why is it so difficult on Google Drive? Let's see. It's not you. It's a system thing, right? Hold on. I'm just gonna download it. Why are we wasting time here? Like, what are we doing? Sorry. I think some things are easy and then I'm just gonna send you an attachment because that's so much better. I apologize. Okay. It's coming in as an attachment. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up the last 2 minutes of your brain dump. And then as you're wrapping up, I want you to think about one thing out of that huge list that feels like it is your direction, it is your calling, it is your purpose to really work on or give some love and attention to today during CEO days during our work sprint. What is that one thing that if you took time with it, it would just solve the anxiety of your week, right? I'm not sure what mine is yet, but it's a long list. So if you joined us after my intro, we have our 2025 CEO Days membership and workbook on sale now, 175 for the entire year. And look at how voluptuous and delicious this workbook is. It is huge, it is fun, it is completely new and improved. You get the workbook, you get accountability check-ins mid-month, and then you get our wonderful coaching calls 2 times a month. They say 2 times because you get to pick one, or you can come with both. I don't care. This screen could be as filled as it wants to be, but I am doing CEOs at 2 times. So then you have the opportunity to come morning or evening, depending on your industry and your work schedule. And then as long as we also are talking about this, there's other resources such as our community group on LinkedIn if you want to, share and continue to network even more. So 175 a year, like you cannot find this level of community coaching and even just a workbook for that price. So I would highly encourage you all to come on this journey with us each and every month. I'm going to go ahead and share in the chat what you can do to do it now. If that's something that you want to take advantage of. I see there's at least 2 or 3 people in here that already have their book for next year, because once January comes in a couple weeks, you want to have your book and you do not want to wait. So you want to get that shipping and all that like processing taken care of, so you have your book in hand for January. So I went ahead and just threw it in the chat how to just go straight to the product page and buy your membership for next year. So take some time to think about that if that's on your brain dump as well. All right, friends. Anyone want to share from their brain dump? What came up for you? Was it the shortest list you've ever written or the longest list you've ever written compared to a CEO days in the past? Just go ahead and unmute. Everyone unmute. Say whatever comes up. How did it feel? Was it a good exercise?
Well, I already knew what I was going to do today, so my goal is to work on 2025 goals, and I was going to use this time to do that. But I did want to join, but I was hesitant because I work, and it's always a conflicting thing of why I haven't come to so many. But do you have the times in journal when you'll be doing it? Because
Yep.
that's the thing. Like, I'm trying to make sure I'm investing, but I want to make sure I can attend stuff that I'm invested in.
Good question. 10 a.m. Central and 6 p.m. Central.
Okay, and it'll be the same
Hey,
day, just different times.
yeah, so I'm trying to do it, and I'm flexible on, but like if we vote or anything, but my goal is to do Thursdays, 10 a.m., Thursdays, 6 p.m. Okay? Because I'm like, by Thursday, we either have your projects wrapped up, it's like my best time to work. So I'm just kind of honing my own schedule first. And 2 times, so like 6 to 8 p.m. and then 10 to 12 Central. So it's still kind of a lunchtime, or people on the Pacific, the West Coast, it's a good morning warm up for them too. So by popular demand, that was what was requested. So I hope that works out for you.
It does. Thursdays are perfect. So I'm excited. So
I'm
yeah,
excited. I'm
I'm
so
about to
glad to have
sign
you.
up.
Okay, good.
Yes.
But please, I think it'll be really helpful. So you get to choose, or you can come to both. It doesn't matter. You can see me all day if you want. That's fine with me. But I knew that some people were like, no, I like work from 9 to 5. I cannot do that. So I made it from 6 to 8, because I understand people see clients and they have meetings and things like that. But then also some people are like, hey, I want to meet during the day because that's my working time. That's fine too. And then I was toying with the idea of having it like on a weekend, but nobody wants to work weekends. That's a boundary I don't even want to cross. So I'm like, nah, like Sunday night, if maybe, but no, like we all don't want to do that. So that was the feedback I got as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to page 4. We are going to be getting clear about what just happened to you as a business owner the last 30 days. We're going to be thinking back about what was it? So like November 5th, which I feel like was just yesterday. So tell me a little bit about your journey. What happened? What wins and challenges came up for you? So when you are in your workbook, or you are following along without the workbook, virtual backgrounds are the worst. Come on, guys. You're gonna put, sorry, it does not want to do it. Um, there's like, so wins and challenges, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then right below it is the next section, but let's just focus on wins and challenges from the past 30 days, my friends. Okay. We want to know what worked really well. When did you make the most amount of money? What did you sell? What did people give you the biggest compliments on? When did you feel like the most impactful when you were helping and serving your clients and customers? Put those in the wins. Challenges could be, holy cow, I overdrafted on my bank account this month. How the heck did that happen? Or just can't figure out how to make this one person happy, or I'm toying behind the idea of quitting a networking group or trying to sign up for something else, and I just am stuck in a roadblock of, is this worth it or not? Put those in the challenges. Those are great things to bring up and to address, because all of these things are cause and effect, right? They all came from a set of habits, decisions, beliefs, just overall actions that you have taken in your path and your journey that led you to these outcomes. And we want to know why, we want to know how, and we want to be able to repeat the good stuff and not repeat the bad stuff. Any questions on when getting clear and wins and challenges? It's okay to ask questions. And then if you feel so inclined, wins go in the chat because that's the whole part of celebrating you is celebrating how awesome you are and all the wins you have. I know you have wins, even if it's just like I feel more clear on something. It doesn't even have to be like a tangible like transaction. It's all good. Holy cow, Deb Jang joined us. Hey Deb, so glad you're here. We're doing wins and
Hi.
challenges. Welcome to Magnetic Marketing this month. But we are doing wins and challenges, reflections from our last previous month.
Thank you for having me.
You betcha. Yes, first Thursday of the month. I mean, obviously January, we're not meeting the first week. It'll be like January 6th, but I try to keep it within the first 7 to 8 days of the month for Danielle's question for CEO days next year. And yeah, 10 a.m. or 6 p.m. You choose, you choose. Oh, good, Roxanne. Woohoo! I'm excited. Yeah, I think like all these days and times and blah, 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 I tried that and it actually just confused me and it made babysitting schedules harder. And I'm just like, no, like we're not doing this year. Everything is a learning experience, right, guys? That's why I love this page, page 5, getting clear, because it's like You can win at like noticing what habits. I'm all about habits right now. I just like finished the James Clear Atomic Habits that last month. I read it and I was like, every single thing is just like a tiny little inch of a belief system and an action in the environment that we take. So when we're clear on that, we're unstoppable, right? We can set up our success however we want by tiny little tweaks. And that's what I love about this page is it really helps identify what exactly it came from. What are those lessons learned? So in your wins, everyone, when you look down at this wins column, what was one of the biggest lessons that you learned about yourself or your client or your product that you sell or your services? Like what was it? What came about to figure out like, hey, now I know this, I'm not doing this again, or I'm totally amping this up. Same thing with challenges. And if it's general, I mean, pick your favorite one. Like, hey, my favorite lesson I learned out of this was boom. And I'm asking this in a way to kind of notice like what makes you, tick because we're going to plug that into the bottom row here. It was your most magnetic win. So if a client was super happy, what about you made them so happy? If a product was feeling, or if something that you're selling was just like, wow, I love working on that project, what about it makes it so exciting to you? Because these are the little elements that we're going to plug into your marketing, right? If you know things work, we'll talk about those things and tell your potential customers and clients about how exciting it is to feel that triumph and feel that resolution and experience that transformation in their life. And all because you know how to do it and you do it really well. So if you are moving on to the next part, the next row is I'm most magnetic when, and then under challenges is I feel dull and generic when. Because sometimes there's parts of us that feel a little, vanilla with what we're doing. You're like, ugh, somebody else totally can do this except me because I don't want to be known for this.
What was the second prompt? The first one was I
I'm
feel
gonna,
magnetic when, and then the second one was what?
I'm gonna put that in the chat. I feel
Okay,
dull
thank
and
you.
generic when. So like, you don't want to be talking about your awesome ability to be mediocre at XYZ. Like, I'm just going to give an example. So, I'm a photographer. That's like my main business. And I know I'm most magnetic when I'm running a wedding. I'm doing the coordination. I'm the star of the show with everyone's looking at me to see what time it is. What are we doing next? What like how do we pose? Blah blah blah. I'm like turned on. I'm like, hey, I'm leading the ship. We're going, going, going. I feel most dull and generic sometimes when I'm working and this is not true, but like maybe say for a newborn and I'm like, oh, I'm like sitting here moving these little baby feet. Sorry, I love the baby feet, but you know what I mean? It's like anyone could like this isn't me. This isn't like when I'm totally turned on. So I probably don't want to push my baby newborn stuff if I know like I'm born to lead these weddings and to like take care of the bride and groom and to, help the mother of the bride and, do all that stuff. Like that's when I'm turned on and you could see me at 120 capacity, right? Not when I'm waiting for a toddler to finish their temper tantrum at a family shoot. I'm just giving you an example. So you know what that looks like for you, whether that's group or individual service. Maybe you just hate like sales calls and you're like, oh, I just cannot turn it on with these sales conversations. I need to figure out a different way to talk about my business or sell it, right? Identify that, right? Because we want to see what you're going to be excited about sharing for your goals and your dreams and your aspirations and all of the things that you want to put out there in your marketing for next year. It has to feel good or else people will feel that dullness in you that you are like, "Ugh, here you go. I'm slugging this stuff out there. I hate pushing this class, but I guess I got to do it." They're not going to like it either, right? It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of everyone's time. Okay. Anyone have pretty cool takeaways? Did this help? Did this make things more confusing? Are you more clear on what makes you magnetic? Who's not done yet? Needs an extra minute?
I think I'm learning there's a fun connection between like what makes me feel magnetic, like having an impact, helping clients understand things better and feel more comfortable. And I do that when I'm more direct, honest, and open to whatever the conversation looks like, which is kind of what I had my wins. And
Yeah.
my challenge being where maybe I'm being too polite to clients because I have to deliver difficult news or I don't want to make them feel stupid because they have wrong assumptions or bad information. So it's kind of I'm working through that process on being more direct with clients. Um, and kind of I just need to work on the language with some of those things. But in the past, historically kind of had been a little bit more I don't know, soft about the way that I would approach kind of bad information or
Mm.
wrong assumptions. And then that kind of leads to, kind of challenging or clients not understanding or not taking action.
Yeah, like the whole relationship kind of gets a little mushy, right? You're like, oh, like, where do we go from
Yeah.
here? Am I trying to give them more advice? Are they overwhelmed, right? Like, are they ready to like get a product sold to them or not? Right? It makes it a little challenging. I would say, think about what resources you can send them ahead of time before that conversation. Like maybe there's like an FAQ thing or like a really cool like checklist or guide or something where like you don't have to be the one to like educate them, but it's a nice like talking piece where you're like, hey, these are the things I kind of want you to be prepared for before we talk.
Hmm.
Just set it up so then you have full control of that conversation while you're also able to completely listen to everything that they need to share with you so you can
Yeah, I like
help
that.
them the most.
Cool. Thanks.
Um, but yeah, I think like more communication is always best, whether that you do that ahead of time or you set expectations. It just helps so then people feel more like, oh yeah, I'm picking up what you're putting down. Um, but you don't want to overwhelm them. Like, yeah, this is like 75 pages of junk to read before you can even talk to me. Like, no, we don't need to do that. But you'll fine tune what that feels like for you and like how you want the conversation to go, I'm sure. Cool. All right, friends, we're gonna cruise along. So we are talking about so if you have the workbook, where let's flip on over to page 6. And I'm going to kind of glance over some things that I want you to consider, but I want you all to leave like having an outline of your own said marketing plan. I used to write 18-page marketing plans for people, and it was a beautiful service. And I'd have a 90-minute call beforehand. I would listen to all these beautiful, like heartfelt responses from a set of questions that I would prepare ahead of time. And then I would spit out this awesome plan that literally told them, here's what to share, here's the language, here's your audience, blah, 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 blah. Do you know how many people read that plan? I think just Jeff Jones was the only one to read it, right? Like you're the only one who told me, like, I keep going back to my plan and right? And I'm actually using it. I'm like, that's amazing. Or like usually from that, they would hire me to then do all the things for them. And that was when I had my agency. I had a team of 8 and we followed the plan thoroughly from head to toe. But those were marketing people who like that, right, Allison? Like we followed that plan pretty closely. So today I know that we only do things that we can handle and we only want to take on things that we believe we have the capacity to feel excited about and to actually take action on, right? Nobody wants to be told, here's all the things you have to do, and then you as the implementer are like, yeah, there's no way in heck I'm doing these things. So when you do your marketing plan, when you're thinking about how you can be magnetic, I want you to think of sustainability, right? I'm going to ask you some questions and have you jot things down on the piece of paper that's on page 9, or a blank piece of paper. But I want you to think about like what's possible for me. So I'm going to put that out there initially because nobody needs an 18-page marketing plan when your strategy is simply show up every day and ask a positive question, right? You don't need an 18-page marketing plan for that. The biggest thing that you battle is yourself when it comes to marketing, but it's also the biggest asset that you have is yourself. The reason I say this too is because we live in I wrote this workbook a year ago, right? So like everyone had this workbook January 1st. And a lot of these things apply as a general concept, but today even 3 months ago, the world of AI has completely transformed the way that business owners and small business owners are able to implement at rate speeds. And I use AI every single day in my marketing and the things that I use. And like just Canva does an incredible job in my photography. I use AI constantly for automation, editing, and to simplify my processes. It's not going anywhere. It's actually just being ramped up. So all of you, I want you to think, well, AI doesn't write my content. No, it won't, because you can tell an AI written content piece. But I want you to focus on you and what makes you incredible, what makes you magnetic, what do you want to promote, what do you want to push, what's your tone, what's your voice, how do you communicate with your clients? Because those are the things that AI would like to know in order to optimize your efficiency in your marketing. So before we get started though, because there's a lot here, let's just have a quick little convo, a quick little check-in with what has worked for you in the past with the way that you present personal, like your personal attributes in your business. What are you afraid of? What's worked really well? What things would you not do? I feel like it's a good conversation to just kind of go around and share. Like, do you market as yourself? Morgan, I know this is a complete challenge for you with all the regulations and FINRA and all the complete red tape you have. So it's difficult. But in what ways have you been able to maybe personalize the experience of marketing for your business? I'm not asking you specifically, but I understand some industries like you can't just be like, hey, there's a story about what I did with my dog yesterday, buy my shit, you know? So but what had like let's talk about it. Like what's the world like for you in your industry? Like is it easy? Is it like challenging? Like let's be really real here with how marketing is really going out there for you. Like nobody wants to sit there and create hours of content, post a post reels that take an hour each for no views, for like these things take months, right? You don't start a podcast and think 100,000 subscribers are going to pull up in your door tomorrow. It takes time. But what have you tried and what feels really good to you with the things that you have been able to put out there? Like let's not talk about the results as much as just the idea of putting yourself out there.
Dana, I'm glad you ended that with putting yourself out there because you know my resistance to doing newsletters, all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And what has been most effective, and I brought this up once before, things that aren't marketing that turn into marketing by making myself available for groups like Atlas, like
Mhm.
Chamber of Commerce, whatever it is,
Yeah.
but being in giving time. And the way I came to look at it over 2024 was if I attend these meetings for an hour and I'm actively engaged in those, that is the same time period as it would take me to write a newsletter.
Mm-hmm.
And that turns into a network
Yeah.
that gets expanded. And maybe those people aren't clients or attend a workshop or something, but they know somebody who will.
Yep.
And so it's I've just sort of had a mind shift in how I'm approaching what I define as marketing for myself. Now, I would still like to be able to do some more of the traditional things, just because I find I'm more organized if I do that.
Okay. Yeah.
But but I'm pretty happy with the way that being involved in two or three different groups has grown my business and plus grown it in ways that I wasn't ready for. Presenting on topics that weren't part of my toolkit before.
Hmm. I'm glad that you brought up this concept because I even wrote an article about it 4 years ago or 5 years ago on my LinkedIn. Great marketing is not a billboard. It's a room. The room that you put yourself in. It's just the audience that you're in front of. And what are you saying to them? How are you presenting yourself? It's a two-way street, right? Great marketing. If it's just a billboard, you're giving people opportunity to ignore it, pass it up. But if you're right there in that room, it's engaging, it's interesting, and it's something that you as a human being, you can't pass up. So I love that you brought that in. Is like your marketing strategy is being in a room, it's spending time and connecting with people like in person. And that's a wonderful thing to know about yourself. Like you're an in-person kind of marketer, and that is an actual characteristic, right? You could be a video type of marketer, you can be a written, or to Jassie's point, visual, right? You love communicating visually and using charts and graphs and pictures and images and things like that. So, and Danielle is a photographer, like, right? There's a whole strategy that photographers don't share anything about them. They just put their work up, and their work speaks for themselves, and they're visually communicating with people with their ability to share the stories that and the way that they work. So I love that. And I think that this goes into, right, in our marketing plan is what are you really putting out there, and who is your audience? Because your audience may not be found on the other side of a cell phone or an email on a keyboard, but your audience is people that you can physically interact with, have eye contact with, body language, and be in the same proximity and space as them. That is promoting your business. Absolutely. So what, anyone else have something like maybe you have an audio podcast and you like having conversations, and that's what makes you magnetic is great talk, and you put that talk out there, right? Anyone else have anything that you feel like maybe be a little different, but you're like, ooh, I wish I can dive into this a little bit more, um, because it works really well. Allison, you do like one of each. You do like everything. You do videos, you do
Yeah,
interviews.
you just made me had gave me a brainwave. Because I was thinking about my webinars, which I enjoy doing. I was doing one a month, and they used to get good results, and that I would get people interested. I would get a new client pretty regularly. And
Mhm.
this whole year, I haven't gotten a single client from any of my webinars. So,
A lot of
uh,
work. You got to promote them.
no, it's a lot of work, and I enjoy doing them. So on the one hand, it's like, I enjoy doing them and I enjoy promoting them, but if it's not getting results, then I don't want to waste my time. So it does feel kind of like a relief letting go of that and trying something new. And I have been thinking about podcasting because everyone and their mom has a podcast these days.
Yeah.
And they keep telling me that I need a podcast. And I did enjoy when I was doing some videos and interviewing people. And just you and I did that where we geeked out about marketing together. And that was a lot of fun. And that could be a podcast. So a big reason I haven't jumped in and actually done that is time.
Yeah.
Um, so if I'm letting go of the webinars, maybe I could replace that with the podcast. And that could be video and audio. So I'm getting in front of as many people as possible. And yeah, I have noticed it's funny. I don't know if I get like clients from YouTube, but I
Hmm.
keep they keep sending me emails from YouTube saying that like, yeah, there are like hundreds of minutes of your videos that have been watched and your subscriber list is going up. And I'm like, oh, this is resonating with people. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, YouTube has, I mean, just think of the behavior. So like we all have to realize that people have gone through COVID, being at home, learning at home, craving connection and wanting to jump on as what like Zoom calls and webinars and all that. Then we moved into another wave of like, don't let me have another Zoom call again. I'm totally over that. I want to kind of DIY and learn on my own or just like meet in person. So that kind of went up. Like, I think that the most dynamic shift we've seen in like just information behavior has been in the past 5 years. And now we are in a world of like AI generates everything and like what's actually real and what article am I reading that's not like fake or totally like slighted or cited, and like you actually just want to go to a trusted source. So that's why like influencer and like recommendation marketing is like going up right now because people are just sick of like getting swayed around without actual like proof of concept. So I think that all of us are having such a like a roller coaster, but I think the most important thing that we can get relief in and hope for is being what works for you, right? How do you like to show up? Jeff identified, it's like, I need to just be in awesome rooms, you know, find the best rooms that I'm in, and I just know how to work it and own it in that situation. So don't feel bad or blame yourself if the results that you once had do not work anymore. As we see such a dynamic shift in consumer behavior and information behavior, we're all competing with one thing. It's not our competitors, it's people's attention on these phones. So how do we manage that while also keeping our sanity and being able to create systems that help us move forward? So, you know, to Jeff's point too, he can't walk into a room and not know what he's promoting, not know what he's talking about, not know who he's talking to, right? A lot of the same traditional marketing concepts still apply, even though he's not on the other side of the keyboard of these folks. He has to have a pretty good idea what his plan is and how to execute that plan. And to create a marketing opportunity or an opportunity to build a relationship that is considered marketing, to grow his business, having those things very clear. So maybe your marketing plan did work, but you know what I'm saying is like, you don't want to just be like, hey, I signed up for this event now, everything's cool and dandy, but then you never follow up or you don't have a strategy to really ask like the right questions to people to convert them into customers. So that's why everything on this page here, page 6 and 7, really helps you to fine tune that. And I want you to really think about what that means for you and what it looks like. So, you know, another, I'm just going to kind of skip to for the sake of time, is just like a quick messaging methodology. This is something I learned in college. What was it, junior or senior year? But we had an adjunct professor from Leo Burnett, and actually this formula was kind of the most helpful thing that we've ever done because he would make us create an ad. Like we would have to create like actual advertisements, like whoever, like I had obviously the photography skills and I could Photoshop anything together. So mine were always like gorgeous, but like he'd be like, this doesn't answer the three questions. And I'm like, oh, I gotta start over. And we'd get models and like produce these huge campaigns. It was pretty cool, but he was really cutthroat. Like if it didn't help get to the psyche of the person to help them, because wait, what was it? That before, because, and after, um it didn't solve the issue and it didn't like really resonate. So the messaging methodology would be, you know, before, because, so state the benefit the reader will get. And it's not a feature, it's a benefit. So like, how can it really improve their life? Then because would be connecting that benefit to the product or service. I like to share like my own thing that I created was like, what is your mission? Like, how did you create this in order to change the world and make the world a better place through your service? And then after, which is the because, is explain why they'll get that benefit. So you can play around with this in your own business and play and kind of think about that. But if it doesn't really get them from what the benefit is, how your benefit connects to your service, and then why. And why is this important? Like the 6 degrees of why, you won't really hit home with the customer and the audience member that you need to get. So it might be a little confusing at first, but once you play around with that, just something fun. If you're feeling like your message isn't landing, you could try this methodology and kind of experiment with it with your next networking events, like how you explain your business and how you talk about what you do. Okay. So there's a lot in here, but I want you all to then take maybe some of the work sprint time to think about like, what is possible for me? What can I do on a regular or weekly basis to really enhance my own marketing strategy And if you have been doing something for the past 6 months, ask yourself, am I first doing it well? Like, do I do it as often as I promised myself I would do it? If you don't, if you say, hey, I wanted to write blogs and then send an email and then do a video once a week on it, and you have been skipping, don't give up on it yet because you didn't stay committed to that. So try just, changing your habits around to make a committed goal. If you have been doing something for 6 months, very committed and very honestly, that you're like, hey, this isn't really working, like Allison, she showed up, she promoted, she like did her webinar, she kept the quality top notch, she did all the follow up for it. And you know what? It's just not working as it did. Then you can consider it. But I want you to think that all good things take between 6 and 12 months at the highest level of commitment. If you know you haven't been putting the time and effort into it, like you haven't been doing your social posts or you've been skipping those meetings that you signed up for and you're like, well, this networking group doesn't work, but you're late and you're not prepared and you're not giving it your full on, don't quit it yet, because it might just be you, right? So I think see a lot of people quit on things way too soon before they really give themselves and the strategy a chance. Does that help? Okay, very good. And then ask yourself too, is like, why am I not motivated to do this? Am I making this too complicated? Am I reinventing the wheel? Am I scared of something? Right? We always don't take action because of emotion-based things. So figure out what that emotion is. And you can always reach out to me if you need some help with that or you just need extra accountability. We have a weekly group also meets on Thursdays, but you can tell I'm like trying to work one day a week. But so Thursdays at 1 o'clock Central, we meet to actually work on marketing, and two of our members are here in this class today. So we work every week and we get the things done that we say we're going to get done. But I want to hear from you. Did this help? Was this clear? Do you have more questions? What do we feel about magnetic marketing, and is it feeling magnetic for you? I'm sure you got to work things out a little bit, but just generally, like, do you feel like you're clear on what you may be stepping into in 2025? This is a chance. If you have questions, please bring them up.
Well, for me, this is kind of the conversation I was having with me earlier. And it's sometimes I feel like I need to separate Laquita versus a business brand because you go is everything that's Laquita J. And
Yeah.
I was contemplating on starting like an Instagram account with just the company's name and seeing what that how does that work, just to separate me. But then I was even as you were talking, I was thinking the thought of but I'm an introvert. I like sharing all about my life and things of that nature for Laquita. So it's like, what are some things I could share? I'm okay with sharing. Or when I get that sprint of and ball I want to share, just record all the information, the stuff, and then just schedule it out. But it's still seeing that I still have a piece of me and not like real time. I guess like when I was in my 20s, I was okay with, oh, look at me, look at what I'm doing. Now it's like I read a post that days or weeks later. But then it's like, then I get in my head of it's a week ago. So that all that I think that's where I'm lying with the far as that because I feel like when you see like Instagram, you don't see me, you just see all about business, but I'm so much more than that. So
Yes.
it's like how I show Laquita the person, Laquita, and it's like I'm a dynamic person showing it. All right, and even just saying like one of my goals is to go into because again, my kind of coaching, I help pharmacists pass their exam. We just came out with our physical product. I have pharmacy schools interested in us. I need
Ooh.
the company to be its own thing and then not them feel like it's they buying Laquita.
Mhm.
So that's the kind of direction I want to go into, but I go back and forward. So it's good to even just talk this out right now. It's really good for me to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to share my thoughts.
Beautiful. If I can suggest any bit of feedback, I would always say the adding additional accounts is only kind of it's more work, but it's if you know you one day want to delegate or have somebody else run the page or like somewhat separate it from yourself. If you want to sell the business one day, you definitely want to create some brand value around that in itself. But there's nothing stopping you from being a contributor to that brand. Like who we are is not what we do, right? We're so much more than our job. We are, and we are so much more than our business. Let's like, oh, that hurts sometimes because we build this business to like escape the corporate world or to just have something of our own, but we still are separate from our business, and that's okay. But what we want to share is that like who we are as like the worker or the CEO or the visionary, like we fit in a role, whether we like it or not, in that business. And that's still dynamic. That's still amazing. That's still a reason, like, especially a lot of people in customer service, right? They find their salesperson and they love that person. They'll die for that person, right? Like they like will always buy anything that person sells, even if they go to the other company. It's that loyalty, right? So I think that there's a fine balance, and I follow some pages that I see, like, there's the personal side where you're posting about your dog and what you made for dinner that night and like your whole like personal story, but you also can add personality into your business page that aligns with that as like your business persona, right? That person. So you can definitely keep it separate. And I encourage you to if you know you're going to sell your business one day, but that doesn't take away to the fact that you're running that business and that you still attract people for the way you do things and the way that you present yourself and the way that you sell and your ideas and your big breakthrough concepts that you as Dr. Laquita are like you are still part of that page, but it doesn't all have to be about you. Does that make sense? Like in all your personal stuff. And for everyone, I would never, ever, ever like put boundaries on what you share online. Like, if like you don't have to, if you're a parent and you don't want to share your kids, don't. If you're, you don't want to share your dog, you don't want to share where you live, don't. It can be a very dangerous place. So I'm not saying here, go pour out everything and all your secrets and all your personal information out there. I would not like, definitely don't do that, but have a way to share what's important without giving away your secret sauce and everything about who you are, because that is also, no one's business either, right? I think some people think, well, I have to talk about my divorce or, a loss that I had. Like, no, like you do not have to share things just to come up with a story to feel like anyone. Like, there's no reason we need to dig into our personal lives online just to be seen. We all know that it's entertainment for some people, but we can figure out other ways that we can set our boundaries and hold our boundaries without, disrespecting the things that we need to keep personal. I hope that helps. Okay. I know that's like a little soapbox of mine because there's no reason. And I feel sad because like a lot of people think, well, like, I have to share these things or I have to like put everything out there, everything I'm doing. I'm like, do not sell yourself to social media. That's not a strategy. Like you keep everything that you want to share. And I agree. In my 20s, I used to be way more like just like overt, and like as I age I feel like I'm getting more and more like I don't really even feel that that's interesting to me. Like why would I put that out there? Because I'm just getting more lonely and picky too. So like I get it. Like I feel like there was more content out there when I was younger, but now I just have to get more creative to talk about the things that I love doing and love sharing in just different ways, and maybe say at the same time in different ways too. And I don't have to feel like I need to continuously generate so much because sometimes people just don't see it, or they don't, the way I said it before didn't resonate. I just make it shorter, make it longer, right? Just play with the things that we know sell and what's resonating with the customers that you. I will say too, another really helpful thing, if any of you are struggling with where to even start, take your best 5 clients or customers and get some feedback from them. Sarah is really good at picking up the phone and calling and being like, can I just get on a call with you? And I will say that, like, she's excellent at like just being like, hey, I just want to see how everything's going, what's working out, what's not. Your customers are your biggest marketing tool. Whatever they did to buy from you is what you want to put out there, right? Like how you sold to them, how you attracted them, how you converted them from a stranger to a customer. That is your biggest marketing tool ever, because you don't have to make it up. You don't have to shoot in the dark. These are actually people who gave you their money that they worked hard for, and they said, you can help me. I know, I believe in you. And just ask, well, how did I do that? That's how you market, right? Okay. Any other questions? All right, let's go on to our work sprint, friends, because you all have a lot of stuff to do and you want to get to work. So enough talk, let's work. So in your getting productive time, I want you to use this time to either work on your marketing plan, like do a brain dump on it, right? Like what questions do you have? Like what things are coming up for you that feel like an interesting idea that you may want to implement? Maybe you want to use this time to go and like look at your year end numbers. You want to go into like that deep business work that you never have time for and you don't have any time on your calendar in the next couple weeks for either. Like do something to work on your business. Don't pick up client work. Don't just scroll around on social media unless it's part of your strategy that you need to do that for research. But just really use this time as time to work and get something done. So if you can in the chat, everyone put what they're going to be trying to accomplish and get complete by the next 30 to 40 minutes. So what do you want to check off your big list? Go back to your brain dump on page 2, and see, or page 3, sorry, page 3, what is in your brain dump that you're like, ooh, that's that one thing. Just take one of those and rip it apart and finish it. So completing your annual review spreadsheet. Ooh, I like that. It's gonna feel exciting at the end of it. Maybe you're like writing thank yous to all of your customers this, and you're just like, hey, I just want to touch base and go get Google reviews from all of my customers from the year. And I just want to go back in emails and, like this is important stuff, right? How can you use this to generate new business for next year? How can you do things that give you ideas on how to propel yourself so January 1, you already have a full month, or you have clients, right? Like that'd be so cool. You're not just going on break. You have things lined up. So let's work on that today. Maybe you send out that customer feedback survey right now and you're like, good, that's my whole marketing plan for next year. Done. Because all I do is take everything that they said and figure out a way to plug that into a couple of action items, a newsletter or a social post or my networking presentations. All right, friends, put it in the chat, put it in the chat, put it in the chat, or else I can't hold you accountable for it. We all can't hold you accountable for it. And then if you haven't yet, make sure that you're networking, putting in your contact information if you think anyone here would like to connect with you. We all need other business owners in our life to refer to and connect with. So if you want to network, that's in the chat, and then we'll all save the chat at the end. And then maybe you work on your magnetic marketing statement and you're figuring out what is your mission? What drives you? Have you been talking about your why? And do you even have your dream for 2025 outlined? Maybe you do a little journaling this time. What's my dream for next year? Nobody's asked me that yet. Maybe I just figure that out a little bit so I can give some goals, put some goals down that feel really, really aligned to where I am today, not even last month, right? Because things change. All right. So let's get to work, friends. Okay, I'm going to give you the 1 minute warning, my dear friends. Let's wrap up what we need to in about 1 minute, and then we're going to come back to our space here and get into our calendar so we can get the things that we need to get done or continue what we're working on and make sure it's in the calendar. All right. And then I will ask a question. Who here um feels like they need more guidance on a marketing plan? Because I have a tool that you can use that's like a very watered down version of um and a lot of my marketing group members have this, but if you're interested, and you'd like to kind of talk through and set up a meeting to go through like creating a monthly plan, I have a 12-month planner tool for you. If you're looking to really jot down things and just kind of work at your own pace, please just send me a quick private message if you'd like me to send you a 12-month planner tool. It's on Google Drive, so you can just add it as you go, plug everything in. There's lots of prompts, and then there's a whole area where you can build a 12-month calendar. And then each and every month thereafter, I have reminders going out like on a very automated basis where you can get a monthly marketing plan document called the marketing dashboard with each and every day. It's just a way to organize your promotions for the month, and then you can start to just kind of skeleton like either bullet points or fully craft your social media, email marketing, networking pitches, all in on a daily basis, where you can just organize all your marketing from the month. I love using Google Drive because it not only can be done on your computer, but then you can go on your phone while you're out and about and doing, wherever, however, you can just pull up Google Drive on your phone and you have all of your work right there on your mobile device, on your tablet, on your TV, wherever you want. So I love Google Drive for that capability, that it's cloud-based. And anytime that you have like a shower thought or a driving thought, you can just dictate your text into there, put it all in there, and all of your ideas go somewhere. So then you can use that in an organized way for your marketing. I know that some of you have already dug into that, but just as a reminder, each and every month, there is a way that you can be more organized and accountable and just prepared for what you need to promote by using tools such as Google Drive, and you can plop all those things into a scheduler. So everyone has their own way of doing it. Some people love having a template. Some people just want to use their notebook and go fly by the seat of their pants. I don't care. As long as you're growing your business and you do what works best for you. I've created this tool because I had to have a way to collaborate with others, to get my own thoughts down, and also to be able to just kind of go back, because nobody wants to reinvent the wheel and continue to create posts that say you posted a year or two ago, nobody's really seen. You can just repurpose it, pull up that document, plug everything back in, reword it a little bit, change the graphic, turn it into a video, whatever. And you constantly have control over your own content, your own messaging, your own graphics, videos, messages, all that good stuff. So message me here, just direct message me, and I'll make sure that you're on the list to receive all of 2025's monthly content dashboards, as well as the overall 12-month plan. And then you can, if you're still struggling to get the stuff done, you're like, okay, I'm planning, it's all in the document, but I'm just not getting it done. Each and every week, we have an accountability meeting from 1 to 2 Central called the marketing group. And we meet and we actually work on that document and we plug it into our systems. We schedule the posts, we mastermind what needs to go on there. You can come with me with my ideas. Sarah, if you don't mind me using you as an example, you sent me your email newsletter the other day, and I was able to help you proof it and get it out there and get your blog stuff done. So you get immediate feedback from me if you need help with your marketing. Okay, so if you have any questions, please follow up with me. I see some people messaging me privately, so please do if you have questions on that or you just want to check it out and just say like, hey, now that I know it's there, I can kind of give it another shot, give it a try. Feel free to. These resources are all to help you thrive and succeed. And at CEO Days, I do not hold back with my generosity in both my time and my resources. So if there's anything you need, please let me know. I am just passionate about keeping you all in business, making sure you get paid and you're paying yourself and your business is a thriving success. That is like the things that I lose sleep about at night is just worrying about you guys. So, okay. So, how did that go? Did we get everything done that we said we're going to get done? Was this a productive use of time? I'd love to hear from you. How was it? And if you've been with us all year, thank you, members. I just want to give you all a specific, special pat on the back for coming each and every month. I know that this is done. You keep coming back, so that must mean a good thing. But I'd love to hear from you. How did this go? And let me know. Yeah, let's kind of go around and hear what we took away from today. And if this was your first CEO days too, I'd love to hear from you if this was something you liked and you'd come back.
Yeah, I like the kind of again, you've talked about this and we've talked about this. It's like changing a slightly different focus each month and having this one particularly about marketing. And I think it's one of those things where I've tried a couple of different things. As noted, it's a little bit challenging, but one, a great reminder to stick with something for like at least 6 to 12 months before you actually judge its performance. And then also to look at like, hey, what results am I getting from this? And what was my effort? And are those aligned? Because if I'm not doing the right effort, then why should I expect that it's going to be doing great? So it was a really great reflection point to kind of look at everything and gave me some great ideas for changes that I'm going to make going forward.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I love that, Morgan. And thank you for being a member. It's so great to have you each month. I love that you come every month. All right. Anyone else? Did anything strike a nerve? Does anyone feel like this was helpful?
I think it was a good kick in the pants, because I've been really lazy about my marketing, just kind of letting stuff come in, and just doing what's coming, and rather than being hyper focused about the jobs I actually want to take and the impact that I actually want to make in the community. So, yeah, it was excellent to kind of see it all written down. I was all, oh, I should probably change some stuff.
Yeah, and it's like I don't blame any of you. Like when we're knee deep in project work or even chin deep in project work, like marketing is the first thing that goes because we don't have time to think about more when we're already so like we have a full plate. So if there's anything that you can take away today to automate or make a system where like you just have one day where you just plot out all your ideas to make it easy, like you have that creative day that like comes out of nowhere, plot down all of your ideas and then make another day just to like implement it when you feel like you're ready for some busy work and then just schedule them out, right? And they don't have to be complicated and you don't have to post every day. Like sometimes people just want to see that you're alive and well as a business owner on Google My Business, Facebook. You'd be surprised on in a quick search when someone's researching your company, like they will maybe pop into LinkedIn or a Facebook profile that comes up in the search. And if you don't have posts for like 2 years, they maybe think twice and be like, oh, like maybe they're not that busy. Maybe they don't want any new clients, right? So you just never know what people are thinking. And repurpose. If you have some great stuff from 3 years ago, nobody's slapping you on the wrist to use it again and again and again. Like, who cares? Just make it relevant, make it maybe a little fresh, and then schedule it out and make the least amount of effort you can to show up and say the things that you need to say. So just giving you that as some little shortcuts if you want to make it easy for yourself.
And what's wild is that for clients, I use AI a lot to break down a topic.
Yeah.
And so but I don't do it for myself because
Yeah.
sure. Um, but AI is really helpful in that, in being able to say, okay, this month, I want to schedule 10 posts about X topic.
Mhm.
And then AI will break it out and give you some ideas on how to break that out.
Yep. Then you just copy and paste that into the Google Doc that I'm going to share with you guys. And then literally that's where you get to write it all. So you don't have to be scrounging for another system or anything. Just make that your system, commit to it, give it that 6 to 12 months with high effort, as Morgan was saying. And I promise it works. It works really well. And then you don't have to think or recreate a different habit. Like, I've already done it for you. So like, don't overcomplicate it for yourself. Don't try to do, too many things that are, like, you don't have to keep planning. Get out of the planning stage and just get things posted, and nothing's going to be perfect. You can work toward perfection, but don't let it hold you back from just expressing yourself. Very good. Anyone else? Anyone thought, and anyone's first time at CEO days? What'd you think?
I got this CEO days came at a perfect time with this topic because it is something that probably for the last quarter has been really on my mind of stuff that I have to do. It's not something that I've ever been really good at. I mean, marketing to me has always been it's creative and I am not. So but as we've talked about and as you've brought up in learning, it's something that I am learning every day is that number one, it does not have to be perfect. Progress is better than, perfection. It does not have to be these long, lengthy posts that I have seen from so many other people. It's, make it short and sweet. And also remember that it's not about me. It's about my clients. And so putting those out there. So it has been a learning process for me. And seeing this come up for December, it's just like, yes, it's that reminder. Keep doing what I'm doing and take it into 2025 and it'll all work. It does take time. It is not something that happens overnight. Like, we would all love to see that you put out this post and everybody and their brother loves it and comments on it.
And
It
if
doesn't
you
work
don't,
that way.
and if you do spend a lot of time on it, use it next month, use it the month after. Who cares? If you
Exactly.
think it's
Yep.
really great, that's awesome. All right. I want you all to have the minute or two to work on your 30-day action plan. So you know what? Okay, there it is. So on the last page, whoop, I disappeared. On the last page, on page 10, you have your 30-day action plan, what your goal is, what the due date is. Now, all of you who return here know if you don't put a date on it, it won't happen. And you can't track it, right? And then an immediate next step. So what is the first thing we do? Everyone knows that a goal or a dream seems so wildly, obtuse and away from us. But if we just outline the first next step, that makes it a lot more attainable to us. And then any other asks, like most of the time, my ask column is to get babysitting help. So my 1 and 3-year-olds are taken care of because it's just time for me to do stuff. Or maybe I need to ask my graphic designer for some help with some things I'm working on. Or I need to ask another business friend, like for just some support and cheerfulness. So I wanted to give you all just a minute or two to get some goals down. And this is for the next 30 days. So like, I know everyone wants to paint the picture for January 2025 as like the whole year. Let's not overwhelm ourselves. Just think, what do we need to do the next 30 days? So the rest of December and a little bit into January, let's just say hyper focused. I don't really care about what 12 months looks like. In fact, January CEO days. Sorry, I'm just peeking ahead a little bit. 'Cause I know I didn't do. Yeah, I did kind of like we're gonna do a brain dump on like what are like the January through December like main points, but I'm mostly focusing on like what themes and what promotions do you have so you know how to take breaks and just create goals that you can just break down. So we're gonna do all that next month. Don't worry about figuring that out today because we don't have enough. It's still December. December's still a big month. Okay. So your question may be, when is January CEO days? Well, and if you want to put that as your goal and due date, January CEO days is happening on, did I say the 6th? It's the Thursday, the 8th, I believe. I put it on my website. Oh, no, that's okay. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's the 8th. It's that first Thursday. And then the two times are 10 a.m. and no, wait, why does it say January 9th? Thursday, January 9th? What calendar am I looking at? Oh, January 2026. Okay, yes. January 9th is a Thursday. Sorry, I was doing my calendar for the year ahead. Okay, so Thursday, January 9th. You can pick 10 a.m. or you can pick 6 p.m. and you can actually sign up now if you want to. But if you are joining as a member, well, you're signed up for the whole year. So you come whenever you want. But I think it would still be helpful if you signed up to which one you want. So then you get like the calendar invite and the link and all the resources that you need. So sign up regardless, I would say for right now, because I want to know which one you're coming to. So then I know if nobody's coming to 10 a.m., then I know everyone's going to be coming at 6 p.m. and that's helpful. So go ahead and register. I put the link in the chat. You can also sign up for the membership for next year if you want your workbook on time. Nobody wants to like start their workbook in February when you came to January. Now you have all these loose pieces of paper. If you know you're going to do this, go ahead and sign up so you have everything ahead of time. Okay. Any other questions, feedback? Sarah, you had your hand up. Is this like, do you want to do this question as a marketing question for the next hour, or do you want to ask it for CEO days? I'm just giving you that option if you want more time so I don't cut you off in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna ask if the November marketing dashboard, like if each month was the exact same format, because I had
Uh-huh.
printed out November, but
Uh-huh.
I didn't fill it out, so I was just gonna use it for December. But then I realized that I'd also printed out December, so
Oh,
never
perfect.
mind.
Yeah, and next year they all have like the dates. So like if you want Sunday, like for me, I do Sunday intentions as my newsletter. So I want to know like I'm writing on every Sunday, so the days of the week actually matter. Whereas if you send your newsletter on like the 15th, it doesn't really matter. But I like the dashboards because I can put, okay, in December, I know which days of the week are which dates as well. So it's important for me to keep on schedule with my posting promotion. So yes, good thing you printed out December. Okay, everyone. I am just overwhelmed with joy and happiness. We are closing out the year, and I'm just kind of like, I'm just so excited for next year. It's going to be a great year. But thank you all so much for a fantastic year. We covered so many topics from clearing the space was one of our favorites, getting, we had the mission workshop in February. I mean, we had so many good topics this year. So I'm excited for everything next year. We have fresh topics and we're gonna rock it. So if anyone has anything else, we will open that up or else we will see you soon. All right, friends, take care. Bye.